Hi Book Club, hosted by Heather Skinner. You guys voted in Josephine Wrightson as our author of the month, and we're reading Balance and Retribution, book 1 this month. I'm so happy to have her here. This is our first interview of the month, where we get to ask a little bit of questions before we read, or maybe right where we're starting here in the beginning. So thank you so much for being here.
It's good to be here. It was a close run thing. Hi, Gemma. It's 6 o'clock in the evening here.
I told her that. Isn't that crazy? What time is it here?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? It is 1 o'clock here. Isn't that a huge time difference?
Yeah.
I think that is
It's
so.
nearly my bedtime.
I know. Thank you for being here with us during your evening. I really appreciate
and
that.
if we were in the same place, it would almost be my bedtime too.
Exactly. We'd be starting your bedtime routine so we could read and do your teeth and dinner. So thank you for being here during that chaotic time of a day. We appreciate
You're fine.
it.
You're fine.
So I told Gemma about how you dedicated your book to your kids, and her question is,
How old are your kids?
Wow. Well, if I tell you how old my kids are, that's going to give everybody a bit of an inkling into how old I am. But here we go, yeah. I have one son who lives in Spain with his wife at 32. I have to think about that. One son here at 29. He's actually 30 this next month, September.
oh, happy early birthday.
And then I have 2 girls, which are 16, and she's 17 in October, and my 12-year-old who is 13 this month. She's actually 13 next week.
Oh my gosh. So happy early birthday to just about all of your kids. That's so exciting. What do you think? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how old are you then, Gemma?
5.
Oh, wow. That's a
Well,
big
you're going to
number.
be 6 in November too. So yours is kind of not as close, but yours is coming up.
Yep.
So there you are. You might be able to work out how old I am.
There we go. Well, she won't right now. She's really good at math, but you've got one that it's okay.
Like 4 plus 4 is 8.
Yay. Good
And
job.
Ow.
2 is 4.
Maybe she will work out your age a little bit.
A little bit more than that.
Well, my dad and mom can do like 100 plus 100.
Yeah, you'll
All
be
right.
able to one day too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll get there sooner rather than later, I think.
I think so too. Especially seeing you love it so much. You love math. I was always the creative side. Math scared me a little bit. So you love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be going to school.
That's right. First grade. So you want to thank her for the question? That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honey.
Because I'm reading the ebook version. So I wanted to try and give a little show of the cover there.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I'm actually surprised Gemma was going to originally ask you about the big eye and the fire. Are they in a volcano? She had lots of questions about your cover. So she surprised me when she chose the other questions she had for you. But it brought her to a whole fantasy world too, which is cool because you do have your own fantasy world in there.
You do. Well, that's why words are very different to a movie, because a movie is somebody else's interpretation of it. The book is your own.
Yes, that's true. And I love seeing like that's one thing in the book club. I love hearing the discussion answers sometimes because you find that people are having different interpretations of things. And it's so cool to hear them all together and
Yeah.
all the differences. I
Yeah.
love that. I can't wait to get to the discussions next week. Starting each weekday in of your book. I'm about to start chapter 4. So I'll be
Wow.
doing 1 chapter a day when I do the discussions. But
Yeah.
so let's start off just getting to know you a little bit. Like I'm going to do some just kind of quick rapid fire questions just to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sounds good? Okay.
Yeah.
What book are you currently reading?
I'm reading Demons and Angel. I can't say the word. By J.C. Seal.
Very cool.
It's a trilogy, so I'm on book 2 of it.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. So while we're reading something, it's a series, you're reading a series right now too, trilogy. I love it. What show are you currently binge watching?
I'm not. I don't really. Yeah, I don't. The TV's on, but I don't really watch much of it. I've always got my tablet in my hand or my headphones on because I listen to it. We've watched The Witcher. We've watched lots. But yeah, no, I don't watch much TV. It's on. It's there, but I don't actually watch it.
Background noise, kind of.
Yeah, I like a noisy house.
There you go. Well, you keep busy. You've got lots to do all the time too, so sometimes you just need that background noise. Let's see. Is there a place you'd like to travel to one day?
I'd like to see the pyramids.
Oh,
And
neat.
do the Nile cruise.
That's really cool. Other than writing, do you have a next favorite art form?
I sew. I do cross stitch. Yeah, writing and reading is just it for me. As I say, I do actually sew. I used to draw a little, but nothing. My writing has sort of overtook everything else now.
That's okay. I feel like with creative stuff, it usually merges. There's always something else that, people still like to do.
I craft. I mean, I've made cards. I've done what's called the pin flare things, where you do the polystyrene shapes and then you put beads and sequins and things and you make them look a bit like a Fabergé egg, that sort of thing, and different shapes, hearts, Christmas decorations, things like that.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you still have the first story you ever wrote?
Yes. And I've had it for lots and lots of years. I actually originally started writing in my very late teens, early 20s. And yes, I have a case that when we've moved, because I was a licensee by trade, so I've managed different pubs and what have you. And it's been the last thing on the moving lorry and the first thing off, and it's just chocker of writing and notes. And I also have lots and lots of letters from traditional publishers as well in there, because originally when I was first doing it then, I did try the traditional route, although obviously I wasn't taken up because we're talking quite a lot of years ago then. This type of writing, 18 plus, was not really that acceptable. So it is these days, and women can write about ourselves and do it marvelously. But yeah, it wasn't accepted. But Bloomsbury Publishing, I have two letters actually for two submissions I made to them at the time. One said that although it wasn't suitable for their list, maybe try an agent because overall it was well written. And the second one, I wrote something that I called Constant Colours. Now, I never actually finished that one, but I've got a majority of the story, and the sample I sent in, the lady who sent it back to me said that she liked the contrast between the opening bit and the main body of the story. And again, it was good. Keep trying.
Those are really encouraging though, because I know with, traditional publishing, a lot of times now you get just a generic thanks for trying, kind of thing. So
it was the same there. It was just on paper rather than an email, because I'm talking 34, 35 years ago. So yeah, I have some generic ones as well, but I also have some ones that you can actually see are not generic. So, and I've still got them because they're treasures.
And that stuff is too. It really is. I love that you've got them all in one place and you keep everything. That is so cool.
Yeah.
What is your favorite activity to do with your family?
We walk a lot. My youngest is autistic, so some things that, because we're in Devon in the UK, and it is tourist place. We've got the beach very near and all the rest of it, which is fine. It's beautiful, but it gets very busy. So through the holiday season, as a rule, we don't tend to go where the tourists will be, because it gets too busy for her and she doesn't like it. But we're 4 miles away from the coast, a little bit in, and it's beautiful to walk in just the lanes and the fields and the rest of it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Does that help you with your creative process a little bit too? Do you get inspired while you walk?
I do, but I don't necessarily, inspiration can come from anything and everything. And I have ironing movies. I'll put a movie on while I'm ironing because I like to see a nice ironed pile of washing at the end of it, but I find it it's a bit mind numbing really.
Yes.
So I have an ironing movie on, but then I'll be plotting while I'm ironing as well, because it's the only time where I'm actually stopped enough to.
With your own thoughts, kind of, right?
Yeah,
like it's.
Yeah. So I
You have to stop a lot while you're ironing and take another note, kind of like, oh, whoops, I got to write this down.
I have to be careful I don't drop it, the iron, because you're like, oh, quick.
That's true. If you get too excited, you got to make sure you're still putting it down. Like, oh, wait.
And very often by the time I picked pen and paper up, I've forgotten anyway.
Oh, no.
It's just terrible. It comes back usually, but it's like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that stuff, sometimes you got to write it down quick so you don't lose it. That makes sense. Oh, okay, that was it for the rapid fire. That was awesome. Got to know you a little better. So I wanted to get to some member questions first before I get into mine that were submitted in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So I will start with Stephanie Nietzsche actually gave 3 questions for you. So I'm excited to get to hers for you.
Wow.
Great questions. So she wanted to know, because she has read your book that we're reading, book 1, Balance and Retribution. If she wants to know if the first chapter was always how you saw it going in your mind, or if that changed at all while you were writing it.
Sometimes I actually have an idea that starts with just one scene. Doesn't have to be anywhere placed within the book. It could be the end, it could be beginning. It's just one scene, and then I will build before and after on that one scene. But no, this one was how it was from the beginning. The second book grew a little bit from what I originally thought it would go, but the first one was exactly how I wanted it.
Next one was, what is the inspiration behind this particular story? Because
Balance and Retribution was my first attempt at a 2-parter, rather than a trilogy or just a standalone, because as a story, it would have been not developed enough in one book, or it would have been extremely long. So I split it into 2. And I thought where I ended it, which you will see when you've finished reading it, I'm not going to tell you, was a good point, and jump into the next one, because it's an immediate jump. There's no time lapse. It's straight there. But I've done a lot of books, as you know. I've done Gothic 1, I've done a sci-fi 1 or set, and I was trying to go into the dark side. I was just delving a little bit, and what else becomes dark but devils and demons and all the rest of it. But I don't want to be that dark that it's nasty. It's difficult to describe it. I wanted the darkness, but without it being like really cringy stuff.
I like that.
Although Stephanie cringed anyway.
Oh,
She had to put light on.
I think with that kind of concept, though, there has to be maybe a little bit of cringe to it. You know,
Yeah.
You want to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You want to kind of feel that suspense with it a little bit, and like that. If you're
into chapter 4, are you feeling the suspense?
You know what I find about your book? It feels like a mystery, kind of, because I like the way we're still like, I'm about to start chapter 4 and you're still kind of getting bits and pieces of what is going on here. Hold on. And it's so fun to kind of collect all those little pieces that you're giving us. So far it feels like this really interesting paranormal mystery to me, which is really cool.
It's all mine are basic umbrella term, which is always good. Romance, fantasy romance, full stop. I'm a romance addict, but I'm also, I like angst in them. I like to build up a character and you get to know them, not just straightforward.
Yes.
There's one character, there's your second character, there's your fourth, there's your fifth, and they're stick them together. I like to
kind of
develop
sprinkle
each
it.
one. Yeah.
And I like that. It keeps you turning the pages, that kind of a writing style. And I like that. Stephanie also wanted to know, how long did it take you to write Balance and Retribution?
Oh, wow. She's asking something now. I've re-edited it. Not long, maybe 4 months, 5 months. I started it here after I'd moved, because we knew we were going to move, and I was doing my sci-fi series at the time, and I've got 5 and 6 on the go. So, but that's difficult because I've got 4 lots of story to remember and 4 lots of different characters to remember. So while I was packing and moving, I didn't continue with that because I didn't want to ruin it and having to keep going back and check. So I started something afresh, which was Balance and Retribution. And I don't even think it took me that long, if I'm honest, but because we were moving from one property to another and all the packing, time just got away from me as well, but it didn't take long.
That's still really quick. Like, it feels like you just really had this story to get out. That's really cool.
I do, but my husband's at home with me. My older daughter helps with the younger one. Everybody enables me to do it.
That support system is so important.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm glad that you have that. So we have another, I think one more member question that was submitted in advance. Sharon would like to know, so I believe you classify your book when you talk about the genres as dark, paranormal, erotic, romance. Am I getting it correct? Okay.
Sort of.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm getting to grips with the categories myself as well, and the hashtags for them. Obviously, you have to find that niche. Spicy is a big thing at the moment. Although they are erotic, I don't market them as erotic. I market them as over 18 because I'm a bit technically daft when it comes to it. I have to ask a lot of help. So if I did them as erotica, it would change everything and I'd have to do different separate things with Amazon and that to get through it. It's better for me because I'm hoping that they're not just the erotic side of it. There's more to it than the story as an over 18s read, an adult read.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. And then you kind of are still including it in there.
Yeah.
She was intrigued about how you have like so many different genres and classifications. And she wondered how you came up with combining all of those into one book. Yeah,
well, it's just looking and seeing what everybody else is doing and thinking, some of it, Amazon, when I uploaded them originally, I picked a few, but then as they've come along, it classed me as that, and that as well. Because the other one is a bit gothic-y, my trilogy. So there's a gothic romance, but there's gothic on its own as well. And I've noticed, actually scrolling through and looking at Amazon, they are fantasy romance. The demons, they are dark because they deal with darker subjects. Paranormal, as far as I know, it should be used for anything that cannot be explained by science, if what I've read is correct. So again, that's why I use paranormal. Anything else that comes along.
I love that though, like when books have so many different elements and then combine them so well. So I think that's really cool that you can kind of take any niche from it that you want and say, okay, well, I can market it here, you know, because it has this.
My main market, I have a target market. Whether my genres are under the umbrella term or not, I have a target market, and that is the older lady.
Oh, okay.
Mine are not young adults. My heroes and my heroines are all older. They're not perfect. They're not all that. They might become all that, but they don't start off as all that. They grow and they develop, and it's not a sense of, oh, I can do that. It's a sense of, oh, now I can do that. It's different. You live and you learn and you develop, and the characters that I aim for, I hope people see that is what happens. Not many people touch that market. There's a lot of bestsellers, a lot of indie authors that sell a lot, and their characters are 20s, mid-20s. There's not many that delve to an older age group.
That's true. And I think a lot of the market kind of steers that way too, because once you put yourself in a young adult category or something, like, I feel like it probably does seem easier to market, I guess, for the industry.
Yeah, I don't. I target, that's my target market, end of. My umbrella terms for my genres could be as wide as the next book I write could be totally different to what I've already done. So again, that'll be different genres. I don't stick to, life doesn't stick to one. You can't categorize life either.
No, which is what's so hard about what you guys have to do as authors, because you do have to kind of, you're creative and you've got all this stuff going on with what you do, and then you have to find boxes. So I definitely see I feel like that's always a learning curve. Like,
but why do you have to put one box down? Can't you put lots of boxes down? A lot of ladies that follow me that will read everything I write, and they're all older. Just because you're an older lady doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a good romance story.
that's true. And you know what? Actually, that brings up a really good point that, you know, maybe they don't have as much targeted for them to read, which isn't really fair. So maybe more should look to target.
I'm an older lady, and I've still got life in them. So yeah, and they do. I do a lot of signed copies because they like a book with them being older. Don't get so many reviews from them because they don't know how to use Amazon mainly. So
I guess it's good on the flip side, though. At least you know they're enjoying your work. And
yeah,
then,
they tell me, or they'll tell me on Facebook, or they'll put a post on Facebook, and they'll tell me personally. They'll message me, and they'll say they enjoyed it. When's the next one coming out? What you're writing next? But it doesn't bring in the reviews, so therefore I'm sitting in Amazon. Yeah.
Oh, okay, everybody, please review at the end of this month. I know I will be. I'm excited. Reviews are so important, and I think I've had
I always leave a review
before too. Huh?
I always leave a review. Always.
Yes. Ever since I found out they were important, and I know I say it a lot. I did not know they were important. Like, I go to libraries, you know, bookstores. They're not standing there going, "Make sure you review because it's important." Like, no one. I think you don't know until you know. So I love that when people find out, they do tend to just keep reviewing after that. Yeah, so definitely. Hopefully that keeps rolling and you get more and more reviews. So you were mentioning on Amazon too, and I did think I was looking at your books. I want to say, do you have like 13 published?
I do, yes, 13, yes.
So what are the breakdowns of those? How many are together? Are any standalones?
Yeah, I have both. But my first plan of action was to do a series and then stop the series and do a standalone, and then start so that there's something for everybody, because not everybody will like a series. But my series have developed that strongly. I have to say I've continued on with them. I'm going to have to finish them too. But yeah, I have a Gothic trilogy, which was the first book that I got back into writing with, and it was one huge manuscript that I split into 3. But I didn't publish that one first. I published Listen first, which didn't start off as a series. It started off as just a standalone, but I decided to make it into a series, and that one ends on a bit of a cliffhanger as well. I will give that one away because it follows through into other stories, and at the moment there's 4 of those, and they're a sci-fi series. But it's not sci-fi up there all the time. It's sci-fi here as well. And then I have, maybe it would be classed as an urban one, called Veiled Destiny, which is quite a short one. That was my first standalone. Then I have another standalone, which is called Broken Fears, which is a little bit longer. And that's more of a Beauty and Beast type theme. And then we have the Balance 2, which you're reading at the moment, which is the 2-parter. And then I have a spin-off from Balance. So some of the same characters are in, some are new ones, but they all link to the Balance books called Knights of the Black Cross. And I've got 2 of those and 1 on the go.
Oh, that's good to know. So that we know where to go from next, which is cool. And it's also good to know when you have cliffhangers, because I'm the type of person, I love to buy the next one first because I don't like to wait. Like I'm like, oh no.
you might find that's the one you have. Yeah, I'm trying not to tell you.
No, yeah, I don't want to do spoilers. But it's good to know if there is a cliffhanger. I like to be right on top of knowing what happens next. I like to have it in advance and ready to go. And you did mention earlier about how you re-edited. So this is a big project that you've been working on. Are you planning on re-editing all of your work, or were there certain ones?
No, all of them.
All of them. Oh my goodness. That is a lot.
I'm on number 6, but again, as you're doing it, you're learning more, and it becomes second nature to do certain things. So now I'm on number 6. I can still see, even though I've re-edited number 1, that maybe again it's not 100% perfect. Not that they ever will be, but it may be that at a later point I have another go at those. So now I'm going to continue on, because I've been doing this for 2 years now to do all 13. So when I went back and did the Gothic series, it was all new to me again. So it was enjoyable reading it and editing it. So I don't want to go back immediately now and redo it again and flog it to death.
Yeah.
Because I'll get fed up with it. So I'm going to continue on my route that I'm on, and I'm now doing the sci-fi series.
Oh, okay. Are you also writing any new books at the same time, or you're just completely focused on re-edit?
I did originally think I would do that because I've got so many open ones, but no, I'm finding that the editing is taking a lot of doing and a lot of time. It's time consuming. So now I'm concentrating on that alone. When that's done, then I'll get back to what I'm doing. And it may be that I swear to that a bit on which one I write next or finish next.
Yeah, you've got a lot on your plate with that too. That's a lot to focus on. So definitely kudos to you for the time you're putting into it. Because I know, like, it probably never feels finished, right? Like when you're done writing something, did you immediately feel with any of them like, I want to keep going with it or come back to it?
No, somewhere an end, and that was it. So put to bed, I thought. But my standalones, obviously, they're gone. They're put to bed. But my Gothic trilogy didn't end the way my ladies wanted it to end. So although they all loved it, they have complained about it. They want to force. I want to finish it off because I left that. Yeah. So I will eventually. I always had that in mind, actually. Just a little bit of icing on the cake to finish that one off. So I will go back to that one. The sci-fi series is not finished yet anyway. There's probably another 2 books, maybe 3, before I can finish that one, because I've developed the story and I've just brought a new character in, so they have to have their story before you can close everybody off. They do, romance people, ladies do like a happy ever after.
Yes. Usually that is
No
kind of,
matter how long it takes to get there, they do like a happy ever after.
that is true. That is something usually you want to see at the end, because you're pulling for the character so much all the way through, and you just want to see him succeed at the end and be happy. So I can see that. So that's actually with the re-editing, I was wondering, are you changing plots at all, or is it all just like?
No, it is literally just editing. Maybe I'm a single phrase, I may switch it around to put it a different way, but it's still the same phrase.
Okay.
I'm not changing the plots. I'm not changing the characters. They are what they are. I just need it to be. I've just learned a lot. So yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you're focusing on that you feel like, from what you've learned, that you're looking for specifically throughout, or it's just kind of a feeling going through and
I have a few target words that I use too much. I used to be an ellipse junkie, and I would use them all the time. So I've been taking just out. I've been taking the ellipses out. But also what I found I was doing is I was putting a lot of thoughts into italics. So they read as a thought rather than as a spoken word, which is fine. But instead of concentrating on like that one person's thoughts and then telling the reader what everybody else was thinking, they'd be thoughts in italics, they'd be thoughts in italics, and they'd be thoughts in italics. So it was hard for the reader to define who was actually speaking or who was thinking. So what I've done, that was my main thing. I had to define who was talking and take out loads and loads of italics and just stick to one person's thoughts and explain the rest in each, like in a big section or in each paragraph. And it's not constant through the book. It's just not loads of them.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
No,
It's a bit of a lazy way of writing. I shouldn't say that really, because I'm not lazy, but I see now that it's easier to put, oh, so-and-so said something, instead of putting so-and-so stood still and thought, and then the something, rather than just saying it, because it takes more work to do it.
Oh, okay. I find that interesting, like reading your re-edited version too, and thinking about that as you say it, because there is the break, between the thoughts. It's not, it's interesting to know like what it came from. So that's really cool that that's what you're looking at it changing.
Yeah, that I have tried to do that. It may still be that it's a little bit, needs a homing in a little bit more and a little bit more definition, but that's basically what I have tried to achieve.
And that brings me to another question I was thinking about too, because you do, I mean, as an indie author, you do every step of the process except your cover, right?
Yeah.
So what is that like? Like that's a lot of, doing your own editing, and just everything along the way. What does that process look like for you? Is there an easiest part and a hardest part, or?
The writing is the easiest part. Choosing the covers is complicated. It's not hard, it's complicated, because I work alongside the lady Sharon Brown, who does my covers at aspire.covers.com, and her covers are brilliant. She'll say, look, tell me what you want, and then we'll work it out between us, and she'll pick something. Everybody's got a different take on things, but she'll pick something and I'll say yes or no. Can we do this with it? Can we do that with it? Can we make his tattoo bigger? That sort of thing. That blue's not right, it needs to be a different shade. Things like that. But I love my covers, all my covers. The one now, Listen, is lovely.
Is that the one where there's kind of like a sheet kind of look to it? Like there's,
that's Veiled Destiny. That's Veiled Destiny.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that, mixing that up.
No, you're okay, yeah. Fine.
I think that one really sticks in my head for some reason. Like
the
that
purple one, it does.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that it stands out because the rest are quite dark.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore it stands out. Where's my Listen one? It's easier just to show you. There we go. Oh no, that's a TikTok version. You don't want that. done for me. I've got lots and lots and lots of stuff. Yeah, that's the one you're talking about.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yep.
Yeah, Failed Destiny. Listen is very similar, but totally different colours. Oh, there she is.
Oh, okay, yes.
Now it's beautiful, but you wouldn't know that was an over 18 story.
Oh, okay.
I love a nice cover, and we all know sex sells, but I also like them to have a little bit of, try to be slightly different to what's out there and not just the bare chest, although that's a bare chest.
Yes. But you know what's cool about your covers too? Like even with the one I was thinking of that's brighter than all of them, they have kind of a, like you can tell they're all yours. Like it kind of looks like a collection. There's something about
Sharon and I love the writing, the big flowing italic old-fashioned type of stuff. Like that's the Veiled Destiny one, and I try to stick to that. That's my theme.
Yes.
For want of a better word. And yeah, that's without the thingies in. So
yeah, they tie in together very well. I like that.
They are all where's my,
like the blue tones you use throughout and stuff. I do like the ones that you guys have chosen. Those are really are eye-catching and they're pretty.
Yeah, that's a standalone one. And again, it's the same, similar. They're not all exactly the same, but they have the same theme. That's me. That's my writing. I'd like you to be able to see from a distance that that's mine. And these are my Gothic ones. Get rid of the.
Yes, that's gorgeous too.
That's one. That's three. Where's two? Let me kid you. Don't want those. This one is beautiful. I always like this one. But again, you wouldn't. It's not.
Oh yes. And it's funny looking at it now. I just noticed like the continuation of the butterfly. Between the two, and I don't think I picked up on that before. I'm not sure why, but I just noticed now looking at them.
And this is number 3, but this is heading towards the what people tend to use.
Sorry again about my dogs. They want to get in on the conversation today. I think they like your covers too.
Again, that's the 3rd one in the trilogy, and the butterflies are on there as well.
Your covers are gorgeous. I love the colors, the color scheme, the theme. That's definitely the word I was looking for, the theme, like the way they look similar, but they're so very different. I think that's awesome. Beautiful covers. I love hearing about the process.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you're back and forth with it. Does it take a lot of times back and forth where you're, going through and doing that process of maybe change this?
Sometimes it takes longer than others. It depends what I'm aiming to achieve with it and what we can find that will work. And thinking that, considering it has to go onto Amazon with my pledge series, with the second cover, the blue one with the eye, the lady and the tear that I showed you, that had to be altered slightly because where the writing ran through it, when it came to printing it, they couldn't see it. So it said the flashes of white made it so that they couldn't pick the writing up. So we had to tweak that slightly. Excuse me. So yes, sometimes it can take longer than others, but usually it doesn't take more than a few days if we can find what we want. The longest process of it all is trying to find a picture to use and to work with that I like.
Do they take those pictures, or is this like do they look for stock photos?
They're stock photos, and then we layer them and alter them and everything else.
That's great. And while we're talking about theme too with your covers, it seems like a really important theme for Balance and Retribution is balance itself. So I was wondering, why was that theme? Why did it feel so important to you? because it's very, even just seeing about to start chapter 4, it's really just in everything, and I love that. I love seeing it come back to that, where they're talking about one side of the coin and then another of everything. So I just wanted to hear maybe more of your thought behind it.
Well, everything should have balance. Yeah, life is not always black and white, but without the balance, it gets to being chaotic. And I wanted to portray why we need balance. It is important. Otherwise, well, what do you become? You slide one way or another. You need balance. Yeah, it was a difficult one to actually explain that. But it is important, and I do think we need balance. And the more I wrote it, the more it came to mind of what else I could put next. That grew with the expectation of, how do you find balance? What is balance? Everybody has it. That sometimes you have to be, you should never judge either. You should never look at somebody and think, yeah, you're that side or you're that side. You just don't know. You might have been that side, but doesn't mean that you can't. I'm trying not to give too much away from the book. Doesn't mean that you still can't have that same interaction and feelings, and
I like that. Yeah, that is really cool. I like that continuing theme in every little part, and every time I come across again, I'm like, ooh, this is so cool. Like, it really makes you think. I love that a lot. And then also, I wanted to bring up, you've got, just kind of looking through your reviews, you've got a really cool 5-star review from someone named Patricia. And she had mentioned that you have strong, well-developed main characters, Ash and Annalise.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, I know we're trying to avoid spoilers, but what can you tell us about them without spoiling? Maybe like how you went about creating them, or your thoughts on them. Without
right. No spoilers. Yeah. Right, no spoilers. Well, we've already touched on the subject that I write for older women.
Mm-hmm.
So she needed to be older. However old, there's no specific age for her in my book, I don't think.
I don't think I remember reading an age in the beginning, no.
No, so the age is for you to decide how and to fit her into your imagination for you as a reader. He's got an age, but that's endless. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody in my story, they're not infinite. There's only one omnipotent, I can't say the word, being in my book. And even though there's all these creatures and the rest of them, nobody is, infinite.
I like it. Yeah, I know. I don't want to lead to spoilers. I do find it, I'll definitely ask you more about them later, because I think even just in the beginning, it's such an interesting start to kind of see more. I'm excited to find out more as we're going, what's going on.
Have you started guessing who he is yet?
A little bit, I think, but I'm not sure, because I love that there's still so many questions as I'm going with the little clues. But
this is the first one. The Balance books are the first one that I actually did some research on as well.
Oh, now that's cool. What kind of things did you research in the beginning?
I've not researched anything for my books. Because with fantasy and fiction, you can just go with it. Anything goes.
Yes.
Because you don't have to be factually correct, because this is fiction. It's not a documentary. You're not saying this and this happened. You're saying I think can happen, and that sort of thing. But so normally I wouldn't. I have a good basis for the religious literature certificate. So I already knew where I wanted to go with what. I just needed to remind myself and think and pick out some of the lesser known things to use from there.
Oh.
Because there are characters in there as well that I've picked up their names, and like the Teutonic Knights, there was actually Teutonic Knights.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you haven't come across him yet, though, have you?
No, I haven't, but that is kind of cool.
You're on 3 characters at the moment, aren't you?
I've got what?
3 characters at the moment.
Yes, technically. Like I would say maybe 4, because I'm assuming we're going to come back to one that we just kind of saw in the beginning.
So 4, yeah. Well, there's a 5th one coming, and that's the Teutonic Knight.
Ah, all right. So I've got one more question for you, and it actually has to do. I think I brought it up with Beth when we were reading Earth's Angels last month too. I love finding the British words and phrases when I'm reading. I love it. So like even on the first page of your prologue, I think we see Pratt right away. Tosser. I love it.
Yes, that's very slang.
It is, and I love it. I was so excited when I'm reading these. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. What kind of fun British phrases that maybe some of us, reading here in the States don't know, do we have to look forward to?
I used one in a different book, not in this one, which another lady said I didn't know what it was. Now I might have changed it since I've done the re-edit. I can't quite remember going backwards. But I used to put a Mardy man. And Mardy means soaking here. It's slang for soaking.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, no, it is proper slang. It really is. But some of the ones you've come across already.
Those I've heard, funny enough. I'm not sure where I've heard them, but I know I have, which is cool. Yeah.
It's a little bit, it's slang, and it's sort of naughty, but not really blatantly go away in bad language. Not that there's not some bad language in it, because there is. I don't speak with bad language as a rule, but I think when you're writing a story, when a word is forceful enough, maybe to use bad language just makes it sound, immediately then that's
serious. Yeah. Do you have a pretty even following between where you are in the UK and then out in the States as well?
I do have a lot of my older ladies are mainly here, but I have following elsewhere as well. I had Patricia, the one you were talking about earlier. I've spoke to her yesterday. I speak to a lot of people all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and South Africa. My mind went blank then. But the time zones, my phone is never on noise. I always have it on silent, because otherwise it'd be going all night long because of the time zone difference. I have quite a few ladies that read my books. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it.
I've posted actual copies as well, signed copies to America and Australia as well, and Germany.
Great. Yeah, because I know postage is huge. So it's great that you do that still.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh, that's cool. You don't find that often. I know a lot of times people have to cap it off because it is really expensive. So that's really cool that you offer that still.
Yeah.
So I was going to talk about, you're on some other, I included at the beginning of the month on our Facebook group page some of the links where we can find you. And then you also have some other places we can find you online. So Buy the Author, BUY, the author. And you were also saying authors supporting authors. Do you want to tell us about those pages we can find you on?
Yeah, by the author is Beth Hildebrand, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I asked her if there was anything I could do to help in supporting her when she started the group, and she said, yeah, you can moderate. So yeah, I moderate. I usually look for the pillocks and get rid of them. We had one recently that had joined, and I'm no spring chicken, but this kid looked about 12. Wherever he was from, Nigeria or something like that, obviously a scam. Join me on my WhatsApp. This is my WhatsApp number, and I will pray for your love, and I will give you plenty of love. This is the cost.
Oh boy.
I said to Beth, yeah, he needs looking. There are so many of them. It's unbelievable. Popping up all over the place. Touch wood, I don't tend to get too many. I get a lot of overconfident, forceful PAs or author suppliers of either information or stuff, or they're saying they're publishers or they're editors, and they're really being forceful. That's what I get a lot of. And as soon as they start telling me, last week I had one that told me it was £50 a review or $50 a review.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
No, that's why I did actually put a post on, don't pay for reviews. There are enough authors out there and readers or authors that read as well as readers separately that will read your book for you and review. You send it me and I'll read it and I'll review it. You may have to wait for it, but I'll review. Don't pay for reviews.
It's good advice. Yeah, because I feel like once people find authors or pages and, you know, the scammers, like they just keep coming. It's kind of like the theme of your book, balance. Like the internet can be used for so many good things with marketing and meeting people. And then there's the flip of the coin with the scammers out there. So it's good that you're sharing the ones that you come across too. And
yeah, I do. I just block. I'm too long in the tooth to accept no-nos and to even interact with people that are just not worth it. Otherwise, I just block. I don't even get into a conversation. I just block. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's probably better safe than sorry, because it'll just keep making it worse if you don't.
Yeah. Just go away.
Yeah.
Find somebody else.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm not as naive as I used to be. Thank you very much.
It is tough with some of the scammers online too, because some of them can cover themselves up for quite a bit, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what? So it's definitely good to be diligent. So
not the only one who's not got a lot of money in the bank and can't afford this, that, and the other, and I won't get into it. Too much.
But so On by the Author, that's pretty cool. I think I've seen you guys do author takeovers and stuff on there too, right? So that's
the Spotlight. It's called On by the Author. And author supporting author is done by a Canadian author lady, Sarah Louisa, who's got 3 books out now. I've read one. I'm reading the second one of hers, and they're very good. Not what I expected. Quite mysterious, but I shan't give you any spoilers to those either. Okay. And her site is basically authors supporting authors for whatever reason. It's not book based. Don't go on there though.
There you go. I love it. So those are the places.
I will block you or I'll get rid of you.
You're like the author page bouncer. You're like.
Well, Beth said to me that she thought I was Hawkeye at the bottom of my loft. But I read the comments, I look at people, and I like to know who I'm interacting with as well. So I will read the comments that they've put, and then I'll go back and I'll probably look at the profile and think, yeah, okay, are you genuine?
Yeah.
I like, some comments are brilliant. They make you laugh. There's just the interaction between them is great, and it's brilliant. One lady befriended me over the last couple of days, and she put a post on saying that she was considering publishing a book, she's done this and she's using Wattpad at the moment. Go for it. If I can put one on Amazon and do it, anybody can. If you've got the book there to do it. The technical side of it is, if I can do it, anybody can, sort of thing. So I said that to her, and it's a great community if you're willing to take support, take a little criticism along the way, and not get over upset or forceful over it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I like the way you're looking at this. Like, it's good. You do have to, I feel like the writing, reading community is so supportive. And people are so great out there, but you do have to go into it with a thick skin a little bit too, and keeping an eye out for, scams or like anything that maybe isn't good. You can still always put a constructive spin on it, its own lesson. So I think that's all really important.
Yeah.
With online. Yeah.
You just have to think that everybody's different and everybody's got their own opinion.
Yes. And writing is art, so it's like looking at an artwork piece.
Subjective, isn't it?
Yes. Which is fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Even I write what I write, and even some things make me cringe and I can't read it. It's like one eye or I'm on top of the cushion, like, there I read any further.
Oh no.
And it's not because it's there's not a lot makes me cringe, but some of them are really, really blunt.
And
then it's like, oh
no,
you're compelled to carry on reading.
And it's not like you can do a TV screen where you can kind of just wait for it to be done. You have to actually read it or just skip that.
Yeah. In fact, Stephanie asked me a question yesterday on her author takeover on By the Author. I was talking to her, and she actually asked me about connecting with people, and have we connected with anybody from school? I have a few friends that have connected with me, but I've taken a different route in my life, and I'm quite a distance from where I'm from originally. And I like what I do now. I like myself. I like the way things are. I don't think you can go backwards in time. And I have connected with them, a few good friends. And one said, wow, you're still making me laugh. Cheers. It was a bit more to me than that, but yes. And Stephanie said the same thing. I can see that. Yeah, okay. You have to laugh. What more is there in life?
I agree with that. Yeah. Got to keep positive. And you have such a great personality. So I can see that, like, making people laugh, like, for as far back as you can think. And then that actually makes me think, like, so I think I saw that comment where she asked you, what were you wanting to be? Like, have you always been thinking about writing back when you knew your friends, when she was asking about old friends? Like, what was your first goal?
I did write. And it's what kept me sane at certain points in my life. I've had other relationships that didn't work. And it was my little bubble where I was sane at the time, which is good. But then life gets in the way, you do other things, life moves on, and I didn't do it for a long time. My husband now is brilliant, and he supports me in everything I do. And I picked it up again. So I started to do it again. And then he was poorly. Then he's okay, then he's not, and he's poorly. It was a long road. And all of a sudden, I just suddenly thought, life's too short. Why not? I'll have a go and be an indie publisher. It wasn't so easy it wasn't accessible when I first started writing to be an indie publisher. You had to you could self-publish, but it cost a lot of money. Indie publishing is different, and I haven't looked back.
I'm so glad. Congratulations on all you've accomplished. I'm glad that you came back to it and made it happen.
I love it. It's brilliant.
And you're fantastic. You have such a great personality, and you've got so many wonderful books out there. So I'm just starting to read your work now. Balance and Retribution is my first one that I'm getting to read from you, and I know I can't wait to read the rest already.
You wait till you get to the naughty bits first, then tell me.
Okay. That will be new for me. That will be new.
I'm quite moral in what I write, although there's naughty things in there and there's dark things in there. I always end up with a moral story, if that makes sense. If you understand what I'm trying to say without giving you any more.
No, I think I know what you're saying. You know, there's still that baseline storyline that is through it. And do you use those naughty parts? Like, is that part of moving your story forward? Because I feel like I've gotten glimpses already in the beginning of this book where I almost felt like you were kind of using it as a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a writing tool, kind of like a plot, like part of a plot.
Part of the plot. It's a build up. Yeah. I'm an angst addict. I love to build the angst up in them, and that's what I get thrilled with that. It's like, oh yeah, okay. But yeah, it's there, but there's certain things that I don't. Other authors, it's not necessarily anything goes.
You have your lines, your own limits of what you'll put in. Okay.
Sort of thing. I don't say too much.
Well, I won't put too much in the discussion post about it when we get there, probably.
The thing is, it's part of life, isn't it?
It is, and that's the thing. You know, we've talked about books where like characters, you're even saying your characters are, you know, they're flawed. That's life. You know, the characters in books where they're too perfect, where things that don't happen in real life don't happen. It does get a little bit too contrived sometimes, where it's hard to get into the story. So that stuff it's part of life.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, my books are definitely not for the faint-hearted, but nor are they. Yeah, they're not overly.
They're not too far out there.
Yeah, they're not too far out there. They're okay. She says.
I'm sure it's fantastic. I love what I've read so far. So. So let's go ahead and talk about, you have some exciting giveaways that you want to offer. So I've got a bunch of notes because I don't want to misspeak on any of them. I want to make sure we're in the right direction with them. So the first one you want to offer is a signed book giveaway opportunity.
Yeah, to anywhere.
To anywhere.
To anywhere. Yeah.
Which I appreciate. That is so awesome. Thank you so much.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be Balance. It can be one of the others if they'd like something different. But maybe if they want some of the ones that are not re-edited yet, they might have to wait a little while.
Okay. That's fair. Thank you so much for offering that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for them to enter this one, they need to follow your author page. Okay. And then they have to, because you have 2 pages you were saying, so you want specifically the author one, just to make sure that's clear. And then also this goes along with, at the end, they need to post a review after they've read Balance, and then let us know that they posted it. So we have to see, where, if you post it on Goodreads or Amazon, give us some kind of post so that we know that it's up. And then they also they have to be a subscriber to our corresponding book club YouTube channel, which is where you're watching this here. So while you're here, if you're not subscribed yet, just hit that subscribe button. And that's already one step.
I'm subscribed.
Yay! So that's the first one. And then the other opportunity is for an ebook. And okay. So that one, they add your book to their Goodreads want to read list. And were they also, I think, following you on Amazon too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then for your third amazing giveaway opportunity, thank you so much for all these giveaway opportunities. You have a very special photo book of banners And that's going to be open for people who attend our live end of the month follow-up interview to be entered in to win.
And they're all going in your bucket.
Do you have that handy to show?
Can you see it there?
Oh, yep. Let's see. There's a little bit of a glare. Maybe push it down just a little bit. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. Oh, that's stunning. Look at that. Oh, that's really cool. Now, is this something you use for promos sometimes?
I've done two. This is actual first promo that I'm doing with them, but I have two. I did this one specifically for this promo because it's just mostly balanced. The two books balance, and excerpts from balance. And
it's such a unique thing to have. This is so cool. Now, is this going to be signed as well, or no?
It's not going to be signable unless I get a special pen, I don't think, because it's shiny. It's
it does look really shiny. It looks really
gloss. So I don't think it will take. But there's some quotes from my reviews. There's a little passage from the book.
Oh, I recognize that picture.
Yeah. And then there's different banners, and then there's the one on the end. I might be able to. I don't think I will because it's too smooth. It's very shiny. I don't think I'll be able to write on it, but I will find out. But no, that's the banner book.
Oh, but that's such an amazing keepsake. That is so cool. Oh, these are some great giveaway opportunities.
And so then this is not a giveaway for this one, but this is another one that I've done, which is all my books.
That's really pretty. I love that already. The first combination of the pictures together like that.
Yeah, and it's on the back as well, but it's slightly different on the back because you see the whole thing rather than just part of it.
That's really cool. That's gorgeous.
And I have created these myself. They're not
oh wow.
Something that there's the purple one that you were talking about. I'm looking at myself.
I know. I see like your forehead over.
I'll just put myself in the face with the binder then. But that's obviously the end. But yeah.
Oh, those are gorgeous. And that's amazing.
They've come up with one as well. They've come up really well actually.
Ooh, love that. Oh, thank you so much for offering these. And if anybody has questions again, on how to enter anything, I'll probably do a post in our corresponding Facebook group so that it's all written out and you can see it in front of you, so you can kind of tick off everything. Because there's some awesome opportunities. Thank you again so much for offering these.
That's fine. I mean, if they've read Balance and they've enjoyed it enough to want to read number 2, if they enter it, they can either have the book or the ebook for number 2 or any of the others.
Which is perfect because it sounds like it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger here. So I think they're going to want number 2.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I think it's going to be great. Thank you so much. This has been, I could talk to you all day, but this has been so fantastic.
No, you're fine, Heather. It's not a problem at all. I don't know what time it is here.
Yeah, that's funny. Let's see where we're at. It's 2:44 here in New York.
1944 here.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's so much later for you and I don't want to mess up any of your evening.
No, that's fine. It's not a problem at all. That's what I've got a brilliant husband for.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Every time I hear the support system that you have there, that is so fantastic. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I love it.
Me too.
Thank you. This is so great. And we're going to be starting our book discussions throughout the week for each chapter. And then we'll talk more and then we'll let everybody know when we've got a date and a Zoom link for the end of the month interview. And I will, like I said, I'll post so everybody knows how to enter into the giveaways with a breakdown, everything listed. And this is great. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Heather.